Imagine a place so deep that if you dropped Mount Everest into it, the mountain's peak would still be covered by more than a mile of water. A place where the pressure is so crushing it's equivalent to an elephant standing on your thumb. A place of eternal darkness where the sun has never touched the floor in millions of years. Welcome to the Mariana Trench. Located in the western Pacific Ocean, this crescent-shaped scar in the Earth's crust is the most remote and alien environment on our planet. For centuries, sailors believed the ocean floor was a flat, lifeless desert. They were wrong. Today, we are going on a journey to the Hadal Zone, the underworld. We will explore not just the depths, but the strange life forms that thrive there, the terrifying geology that formed it, and the shocking secrets we have only recently discovered. This is the A to Z of the Mariana Trench. First, we have to understand what this place actually is. The Mariana Trench isn't just a hole in the ground, it is a subduction zone. This is where the massive Pacific tectonic plate collides with the smaller Mariana plate. But they don't crash like cars. One slides beneath the other, plunging deep into the Earth's molten mantle. This slow-motion collision has created a canyon over 1,500 miles long. But the part everyone talks about is the Challenger Deep. This is the deepest known point on Earth's seabed, sitting at approximately 36,000 feet, nearly 11 kilometers, below the surface. Here is something most people don't know. The trench isn't just a smooth valley. In 2011, scientists discovered 4 massive rocky bridges stretching across the trench. These are seamounts being dragged down into the abyss, creating complex structures that we are only just beginning to map. It is a violent, active landscape. The trench is not silent. It groans with earthquakes as the plates grind against each other, sending acoustic ripples through the water that can be heard thousands of miles away. We didn't even know this depth existed until 1875. The British ship HMS Challenger was sailing the world, measuring ocean depths with nothing but a weighted rope. When they dropped their line here, it just kept going and going. They had accidentally found the edge of the world. But finding it is one thing. Going there is another. In 1960, Swiss oceanographer Jacques Piccard and U.S. Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh did the impossible. They climbed into a tiny steel sphere attached to a gasoline-filled float called the Trieste. As they descended, the pressure built to 8 tons per square inch. 4 hours into the dive, a loud crack shook the vessel. The outer window pane had fractured. They faced a choice: abort the mission or risk instant death by implosion. They chose to continue. When they finally touched the bottom, they didn't see a monster, they saw a flatfish, a sign of life where life shouldn't exist. It took 52 years for another human to return. In 2012, filmmaker James Cameron built his own vertical torpedo-like sub and went down alone. He described the bottom as a desolate lunar landscape. Now let's look at the residents of this hellscape. At this depth, there is absolutely no sunlight, no photosynthesis, no plants. So how does life survive? They rely on marine snow, a ceaseless shower of dead plankton, fish scales, and organic debris falling from the surface miles above. It is the only food source for many. Meet the Mariana snailfish, the deepest fish ever filmed, thriving at 26,000 feet. It doesn't look like a monster. It looks like a raw chicken breast. Its skin is transparent, revealing its organs. It has no scales, and its bones are not fully calcified, so the pressure doesn't snap them.
Then there are the giants. Here, deep-sea gigantism is real. You will find amphipods, usually the size of a mosquito, growing as large as a human hand. And perhaps the strangest of all, xenophyophores. They look like dirty sponges, but they are actually single-celled organisms. Imagine an amoeba that's 4 inches wide. They are giant, toxic single cells that can concentrate high levels of lead and uranium in their bodies.
Here is what most documentaries won't tell you. The bottom of the Mariana Trench isn't just cold mud. In some areas, known as the champagne vents, the trench releases bubbles of liquid carbon dioxide. And nearby, at the Ifuku volcano, there are vents spewing liquid sulfur. This is the only place on Earth where liquid sulfur has been found underwater. It burns at 370 degrees Fahrenheit, yet life still swarms around it. It looks more like one of Jupiter's moons than Earth. But the most shocking discovery isn't natural. It's man-made. In 2019, explorer Victor Vescovo reached the deepest point and found something heartbreaking at the bottom: a plastic bag and candy wrappers. It gets worse. Scientists have tested the crustaceans living in the trench and found they contain 50 times more toxic chemicals, especially PCBs, than crabs in the most polluted rivers in China. We have managed to pollute a place we can barely reach.
The Mariana Trench is the final frontier of our planet. We know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the floor of our own ocean. It is a place of contradictions. It is deadly, yet full of life. It is millions of years old, yet we are changing its chemistry in just a few decades. Studying the trench teaches us about the origins of life, how life might survive on other worlds like Europa or Enceladus, and how our actions on the surface ripple down to the deepest dark. As we continue to explore, who knows what else is waiting in the shadows? The ocean is deep, and it keeps its secrets well.